Good morning, good morning. How you guys doing? Time for our chapel. Just a little Travis Green called Forever and Amen. And your kingdom reigns. Your kingdom reigns forever. I like this part. Life is the kingdom. Life is the power. You get the glory forever. Amen. And it's all yours, yours. Sing it out. All the glory is yours. And it's all yours, yours. You deserve it. You deserve all the honor. Yours, yours. All the glory. All the glory is yours. It's all yours, yours. You deserve. You deserve. All right, good morning, good morning. Like I said, that was a little intro into the worship. Hopefully the music played well for you, but that was Travis Green, and that was a song called Forever and Amen. So if you like that whole song, you know, I play it in class for you guys. Go ahead and check that out and play it through the house. Get your mind right, get your energy. It's the morning time. We're starting off with Bible. I didn't do this yesterday, so I'm going to do it today. Excuse me. Let's start off with a little prayer. All right, dear God, thank you for waking us up this morning. Thank you for allowing us to see yet another day. Help us to have our minds ready to work and stay focused and to give you all the glory as we go through the rest of our day. Remember, yesterday we talked about putting you first, and that's what we're going to do today. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, how's everybody doing today? Everybody give a thumbs up. Are you smiling when you watch this? You should be. All right. Get your pencils out. Get a piece of paper if you have one. We're going to be talking a little bit more about how we can increase God in our life. All right. And we talked yesterday about for he must increase and I must decrease. Now, we know what that means. That means we have to have less of us, less of our desires, less of our wants, less of our whatever it is. And we have to give more room for God to come inside. How can we make room when you're at home and you're cleaning up your room? What do? You have to put some things away. You have to get rid of some things. When you have too much, you have to throw it away, right? That's what we have to do. We have to throw away some stuff that's inside of us, some stuff that, for me, I'll be an example. There's some things that Mr. Hunter used to do. There's some things that I've wanted. And God said, you know what, where you're going, you can't take that with you. And so I had to get rid of it. I had to get rid of some bad habits. I had to get rid of some things that I didn't do. I had to increase some things that I needed to do to be better. What are some things? Being better organized, being better at reading my Bible, being better at praying, being better at doing things that would help me as I'm going along in life. So there's some things that you can do. If some of you don't clean up your toys when you're supposed to, or you leave stuff all over the house and your parents keep asking you to do it, you know what you can do? You can start cleaning it up. You can start doing it right away so they don't have to keep asking you. Remember yesterday I told you how I didn't take out the trash, right? And I got in a lot of trouble. I didn't take out the trash and my dad was not happy with me. And so I didn't write it down. I didn't remember. I forgot. And so those things, if you forget as you get older, it will cost you. You'll get in trouble. You might forget a homework assignment now. You might forget to do something now. And you're a young child. You're growing, but you're a young child. So you know what? We'll give you a pass. We'll let you have that one. But as you get older, you cannot make those mistakes. You have to be really, really intentional and diligent about doing things when you're supposed to do them, cleaning up right away, and just making sure that you are taking care of business. Everybody say, I want to take care of business. All right. And what Jesus said in the Bible, his mom one day, Mary, I'll tell you this quick story. His mom, Mary, she was running all over the place. Her and her husband, Joseph, they were looking for Jesus. They could not find him anywhere. They traveled back home. He wasn't there. They traveled to another place. And then you know what? They just got tired and they ended up going back to the city where they started to look for Jesus again. And somebody said, Jesus is in the temple. So they went to the temple, and sure enough, Jesus, a little boy, was in the temple talking to the Pharisees, talking to the people who ran the church. And he went up and he was sitting there talking, and his parents and Mary and Joseph, they came up to him and they said, Jesus, didn't you know we were looking for you? Where were you? And he looked at them as a little boy and he simply said, did you not know that I am about my Father's business? You knew where I would be.
And I love that. He said, I'm about my Father's business. And that meant he had a mission to do. He was not going to let anything keep him from doing his mission. He was not going to be distracted from completing his mission. And he stayed focused. I need you guys to stay focused, not just in Bible, but in math, in life in general. You're young, but guys, guess what? The stuff that you're learning right now is going to help you so much further along. Mr. Hunter, sometimes you can nod your head. Yes, I can be hard on you. I smile a lot, but I expect a lot of you. I know your parents expect a lot of you. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about today how we can increase how we can increase God in our lives. Because guess what? Just like I expect a lot of you and your parents expect a lot of you, guess who else expects a lot of us? You know who it is. God, Jesus. He expects a lot of us. So one of the ways that we talked about yesterday, how we can increase having God in our lives, is writing things down and knowing the word. And one way we know the word is knowing the books of the Bible. So in the back here, I have the books of the Bible. It says the Old Testament. Now, we've been reviewing this, but we haven't done it in a while. So we're going to check back. All right. So when we're reviewing the books of the Bible, first off, we have 5 books in the very beginning. Everybody know them? I put their abbreviations over here. It's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. All right, let's say it again. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. That's 5 books of the Bible. When you look at the first 5 books of the Bible, they are called the books of the law. So everybody say the books of the law. So those ones that we just said, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, those are called the books of the law. The law is what God has given us to instruct us how we should live our lives. There's a lot of people in the world, they think being a Christian and going to church, we have too many rules. But God didn't give us those rules to hurt us, to keep us from having fun. He gave us those rules to protect us. He wanted us to be able to follow his word so that we didn't make the same mistakes as other people and then get ourselves in trouble. So that's why we have the books of the law. They're also called a big fancy word. I know it's spelled funny, but it's called the Pentateuch. Everybody say Pentateuch. Pentateuch. All right, Pentateuch. How many syllables are in that word? First off, anybody know? Pentateuch. It's only 3, so it's a big word. Spelled a lot of letters, but only 3 syllables. Really, what the Pentateuch is, it's just a fancy word for saying the books of the law. Okay, so those are the first 5 books. Now you know Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. You can write those down. If you have a Bible next to you, you can try to get one. If you have a bookmark, try to get one. Write those first 5 books in them all, and that are the Bible. Circle them, and then you can put books of the law, so you know exactly what those are. So the first 5 books, books of the law. Then the next 12 books of the Bible, say 12 books of the Bible, are called the books of history. We have Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Then we have Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther. All right, so Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther. Again, I put those just as the abbreviation so we see. The books of history, what do you think? What is history? Do you guys know? We talk about history in our classroom. History is telling you stories from the past. So these books, they tell you stories of the past when Jesus was living and during other times before Jesus, even when Moses and people like Joshua's story, Joseph, remember Adam and Eve, all these books right here, they're talking about the past, the history of the Bible that led up to Jesus coming. So that's why we call those 12 books. They have all the history. There's a lot of history in the Bible, but these 12 have some really, 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 really important stories. All right, I'm going to take a sip of water. Just give me 1 second here. Are you guys learning anything? Good. So the first 5 books of the Bible are called the books of the law. And then the next 12 books of the Bible are called the books of history. All right, good job. You guys are getting it. Now, here's something that I really like. I really like these. The next 5 books are called the books of wisdom. Oh man, I love that word. Anybody know what wisdom is? I'm going to give you the definition for wisdom. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, guys. So I wanted to find the exact definition for you guys. And so the definition of wisdom is the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. The quality of being wise. I'm going to say that one more time. Wisdom is called the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. So how many of you right now, just you think you have good judgment? You know what that means? That means that good judgment means I make good decisions. How many of you think you make good decisions? I'm looking at everybody. Mackenzie, Sam, Naomi, all of you. Dylan, Michael, do you guys think you make good decisions? Okay. How many of you think you have knowledge? How many of you think you have knowledge? I think everybody should raise your hand. In fact, I'm going to raise both my hands because I know I have knowledge. Raise your hands. Everybody see that? All right. I'm going to raise them high like that. Okay, cool. Now, experience. Oh, this might be something that you guys are not too familiar with or you don't know exactly. Experience means that you've been around a long time. So somebody that's older, Mr. Hunter's older than you. Your parents, they're older than you. You know what? They probably have more experience. Why? Not because they're better than you. It's just because they've lived longer than you. Usually, if you've lived longer than somebody, you probably have seen things a little bit more and you have a little bit more information. As you guys get older, you're going to have more experience. Those of you in first grade, you know what it's like to be in kindergarten. You know why? Because you were there last year. So you can help the kindergartners because you did it before. Those of you in second grade, you can help the first graders. Why? Because you've done it before. You've had the experience. So that's what I mean by experiences. You have probably done it before or have known somebody else who's done it. So it's helping you to make wise decisions. So I don't drive through a red light. You know why? Because of my experience. First of all, I know it's wrong to do. I know I shouldn't do it. But next thing, I know that if I drive through it, something bad could happen. Why? I saw somebody drive through a red light. And what happened? They got in a car accident. They weren't doing well. They got hurt pretty badly. And that's experience. I saw something. It gave me information and I was able to make my decision based on the information that I knew. All right. So that's a little something for you guys, a little knowledge there. All right. So we're moving on. All right. These books of the Bible and wisdom, they're starting with Job. Remember Job? He had a lot of things happen to him. Michael, you know that story pretty well. You told us about that story. Job had things happen to him. He was injured. He got sick. He lost his family. And that gave us a lot of wisdom from Job. Then you have Psalms. Psalms are written by a man named David. That's a good name, not my name. I didn't write it, but my name is David, so that's a great name. Job, Psalms, Proverbs, the book of Proverbs. If you have a chance, I would love for you guys to start reading some Proverbs. Take a look. It gives you so much information about how you can live your life and make great choices. I love it. I read Proverbs every single day. And then you have Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and then Songs of Solomon. So those are the books of the Bible that give us wisdom. Everything in the Bible gives us wisdom, but those in particular are really, really strong books of the Bible. So we have 5 from the law, 12 from history, 5 from wisdom, and then we have this, 5 of the major prophets, all right? And then we have 12 of the minor prophets. We're going to talk more about those tomorrow, but I just want to add this up. You have 5 books of the law, 12 books of history, 5 of wisdom, 5 of major, and 12. How many total does that give? Well, if you have your pencil and your paper, you can write it down, all right? So if you've been writing this down already, you're going to know that is going to give us a total of 39. There's 39 books in the Old Testament, all right? 39 books of the Bible in the Old Testament. Does anybody remember how many books total there are in the entire Bible? If you don't know, I'm going to tell you. There's 66, all right? So there's 66 books of the Bible. And if we already know we have 39, we're going to take away 39. And this is a way we can find out how many books of the Bible are in the New Testament. So there's 66 in the New Testament. Can I take 9 from 6? No, I can't. So I have to cross that out. That's going to be a 5. And then we're going to add 1 in front of the 6, which is going to give us 16 minus 9, which is 7. Then we're going to take that 5 minus the 3, and we're going to get 2. So there's 27 books in the New Testament. All right? And there are 39 books in the Old Testament. We're going to talk about the major and the minor prophets tomorrow in our Bible chapter. But I want you to practice learning the books of the law. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Then we're going to go to the books of history. Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther. And then we're going to my favorite set of books, books of wisdom. They help with your mind. So anytime you hear books of wisdom, I want you to do like this. It helps your mind. You don't have to squint your eyes like me, but you can do it like this, all right? They give you wisdom. Wisdom helps you make wise decisions for your life that will let you live a long and prosperous life. I love you guys so much. I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow. See you.